Can we just deal with one of the weirdest things? What would effectively, I guess, what Ted Cruz would refer to as woke Pat Robertson. I don't know how many of you have actually seen this, but there's a certain joy in watching a man of Pat Robertson's advancing years handling a gun and a taser. The taser we know for sure is unloaded. The gun, hard to say. And in terms of gun safety, ma'am, I appreciate you not pointing the taser at the 1,000-year-old man, but it looks like somebody's trying to hold up Fred Rogers. Look at this. Look at this. Just point right at his gut. What is happening here? I'm just saying, if a cop stormed in there, they'd be completely justified to draw down on her. This is so very weird. Let me see that gun. Okay, watch this.
Also, I want to say, I think a lot of people are thinking, like I was, that both the gun and the taser would be put on your dominant side, but it.
Yeah, most people would think that, except why would you have two guns on one hip? Wouldn't that make you list to port? Wouldn't that drag you one direction? Maybe evenly. So what you have is, for your dominant hand, you have a dominant hand draw, and then you have a dominant hand cross draw, or a dominant hand hip draw, and then your other hand, you would either do a cross draw or you'd have a hip draw, like a grown-up who isn't playing with two things and pointing them at. Okay, and again, we know for sure. I mean, I guess, is this flat-ended? Is it supposed to be the same weight? Is this a dummy gun? Is it made of licorice? Do we know? This definitely doesn't have a cartridge in it. They already spent it on each other.
It's not that way.
Yeah, but they have to cross where they have them different.
So you actually have to
tell them how to draw there, Pat. What you gotta do is, a man once came at me, said I was snoring too loud. He never walked right again.
reach across yourself
but
to
you
get
feel the
taser.
difference.
Yeah.
Here, hand me both those things and make sure the barrel is pointed right at me.
It's definitely.
This, honest to God, is this literally the shittiest gun safety you have ever seen in your life?
There's just no comparison. As I say, they're not making tasers in this yellow color anymore. They're making in black. They're making them yellow. Now, how she made the difference?
I hope you know how much personal control it is taking from me not to stop today's show, take this clip into a Final Cut or Premiere, and just start adding muzzle flashes and gun sounds to this, and just have it. Yeah.
The difference was she shot that poor guy to death, saying, "This is what I thought. I thought was my taser." And if you can't tell the difference in the feel of those things, it's crazy. Anyhow.
First of all, wow. Base Pat Robertson all of a sudden.
She deserves, but, I am pro-police, folks. I think we need the police.
Look at that. Pat Robertson and I have something in common.
They're servants, and they do a good job, but if they don't stop this onslaught, they cannot do this. The police in Virginia picked up a lieutenant in the Army and began to give him trouble.
Who are you, and what have you done with Pat Robertson?
And our state police are highly trained, but why they don't stop this? And this thing is going on in Minnesota, but the Derek Chauvin, they ought to put him under the jail. He has caused so much trouble by kneeling.
maybe miracles are possible.
On the death of George Floyd, it's just, I mean, on his neck, it's just terrible what's happening. And the police, why don't they open their eyes to what the public relations are? They've got to stop this stuff.
Maybe they need more training.
Maybe they need more training. You think? And by the way, what's the follow-up clip? Black guns. Oh my God. This is the follow-up clip to that. Okay, so you want to know what's like how QAnon spread? You want to know how all the like the right-wing media gets a jump on everything? We just watched Pat Robertson basically coming to his senses about, you know, the fact that how can you not tell the difference between a gun you're holding and your taser, even with your adrenaline flowing, which is, by the way, an entirely separate thing. Ask any actor if they cut their finger or stub their, hit their shin on a coffee table while they're on stage, they don't feel a thing. All your senses are off when you're in a heightened sense like that. And I can only imagine when somebody's doing that with, when a guy is diving into his car, he's going to drive off, your partner has got a hold of him, he's inside the well of danger with the car, meaning he could get run over by the back tire, hit with the door, dragged away, all that kind of stuff. And you pull, I can understand being, confused about that, but that's why you have them on separate hips. That's why you practice knowing which one you pull, so that if you have a hip draw with your gun, you have a cross draw with your taser, you're aware of that body motion, so you have as many triggers as possible, right? So, but watching him come to his senses about the reality of that thing is kind of extraordinary. And then what does YouTube, in its infinite wisdom, offer up as an autoplay suggestion, but a Fox clip called Black Guns Matter founder, most Americans see the fake media CNN is.
Joining me now is my dear brother, Maz Toure. He is the founder of Black Guns Matter.
Yeah, there's an organization called Black Guns Matter. Is there a Yellow Tasers Matter?
Maj, we often make the separation between the group, Black Lives Matter, and the people. So are you surprised about this? Because I know I'm not.
I'm not surprised by this at all. This par for the course, man. Listen, they got one...
CNN staffer caught admitting network is trying to help BLM movement. I haven't seen the clip they're referring to. It would be nice if they played it at the top of this so you knew what both guys were talking about, but I don't think, more than likely, it eats into what they're saying instead of helping.
The playbook has been exposed.
Uh-oh, the playbook. We know what's inside.
The frustrating part is the fact that the American people still allow it. And I can't even say the American...
Dude, we've got a lot of problems in this country that we got to deal with, and CNN's kind of low on the list. One of them is, how fucking cold is it in a Fox News satellite studio?
And people are tricked by it. We allow it, right? So this isn't surprising. I mean, we're seeing big tech hide behind government, Section 230, and basically manipulate. So no, this
yeah, Section 230. Are they hiding behind it, or okay?
This isn't surprising at all to me. Like, I think most Americans see, the fake media that CNN actually is.
So, we talked about Darren Seals and, back on the ground in St. Louis and Ferguson when things was happening. But many people in the community have been calling them out, even CNN to their face. Check out this clip the other night where a person goes straight up to Sarah Seidner and lets her know the real deal. Check it out.
Very exciting. Okay, we're going to see a clip. We're not seeing the clip they're referencing, but we'll see this part.
Tell me what you think about what's going on here.
What I think about this is all the press and all the extra y'all do makes this worse.
You think so?
Yes. When people want to protest, they shouldn't do it in front of a police, courthouse. Like that. You get what the I'm saying?
Well, they didn't. The press followed the protesters there, not the other way around. Like, I get what that guy's saying, that sometimes the news coverage of something draws certain people to it, but they're going there. Like, CNN could go to the courthouse, but there's nobody there protesting. They're going to go report the news where it happens.
I mean, I know it was graphic, but it was real.
Was it graphic? You mean the language? You bleeped it out. He's wearing a mask. You couldn't even tell what the words were. It was cool. It was like a samurai mask.
It was real, and the people in urban America, that's been the work of us at Black Guns Matter. We're tired. The reality is, people like you on Fox that are putting out a genuine message resonates with that demographic, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. No question. Not this Geraldo BS.
Okay? And now what's happening is, because of all of our smartphones and technology, we see it and we're being more vocal about it. These are our communities that are being manipulated by extreme left media.
Uh-oh. George Soros. Is he going to get a drop?
Telling a story that's not accurate, and people that have conservative and libertarian-minded values in those urban centers.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, conservative is a governing philosophy. Libertarianism is a pseudo religion for self-involved assholes. It has no governing philosophy. It's laissez-faire governance, which doesn't actually do anything. And the idea that you would be that against government and run, it's like being the anarchist candidate for, city alderman.
Outnumber the small amount of people that have been manipulating and doing things. And this is again, we've been seeing it for a long time, but now there's more and more people that look like me, that wear hoodies, that wear jeans, that don't always have on a suit and tie.
Yeah, no offense, man. I mean, he does wear a suit and tie to work. I mean, I don't always have on a suit and tie. Just, a couple nights a month.
Being much more vocal about it, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, every time I see you got your Timberlands in, and you'll do it on Fox News, you'll do it out there in the street.
Yeah, you can't see. Do they do a foot pass on guests on Fox News? I'm not convinced either of these guys are wearing pants. You got your Timberlands on? What?
And that's why you've been successful. But tell our audience about this libertarian movement, because
tell them about the libertarians.
You have the work, the show, you have the people that are behind you, and so I want them to know how you've been so successful at it.
So one, we deal in a very basic premise, and there's a very serious overlap between conservative principles and libertarian principles. Neither one of those are 100% perfect. Nothing is. Right. But basically, we all live by the premise of, don't hurt people, don't touch their stuff, don't bother their things. I think all Americans are.
Yeah, that's. Democrats are big on that as well. I don't know that that's a libertarian philosophy. The libertarian philosophy says, don't touch any of my shit, but if I want to touch the public commons without paying anything for it, I can do whatever I want. If I want to set up a store in the middle of a sidewalk or in the middle of a road, that's society's problem. That's the libertarian idea. I don't know how that overlaps with conservatism. I'm sure he'll fill us in. But it sure as shit, it isn't, guys, just don't touch my things.
Urban, suburban, rural are there, and that's more of a libertarian, philosophy in that.
No, it isn't.
Regard. And I think there is that overlap, and we got to create that space, because we see that the left is going to become extremely, all of the beefs that they have between their different types of feelings and their issues, when it's time to come address our freedoms and our liberties, they get on the same page. So I think it's very, how we've been successful is making sure that liberty message is there, but not isolating our brothers and sisters in the conservative movement as well, because we got to get organized. They have all of the media, Fox is holding it down, but we in around.
Well, that's only because Newsmax doesn't have on black guests. Honest to God, the OAN and Newsmax are supposed to be giving Fox a run for their money, but they're just literally it looks like a real estate gathering of whites only, suburban house sales. Folks.
Round 11, and it ain't much time left, so we got to organize, and those have to be liberty-based principles.
Maj, a lot of people don't know this about you, but you go around the country and you teach people gun safety. I mean, a lot of people talk about Chicago, Philly, Baltimore, and how to get control of those communities, but you go down there and do the work.
You can't, listen, if you call yourself a conservative, all of these conservatives that we see all over the television, right?
Yeah, but those are rhinos. None of them wanted Trump in there. I mean, honestly, it's about time you attacked conservatives.
If you don't see them actually doing work in black communities, white communities, Asian communities, brown communities, poor communities.
They're doing work. It's not good work. I mean, it's, in the same kind of way that technically speaking, cutting someone's brake lines if you're paid to do it is work.
That where it's needed the most, right? They're just talking. And it's no disrespect.
Making the case for a libertarian movement. Not the.
No, actually it is. It is disrespect. If you're talking and not doing, no participation in me, I don't need you to really talk, you know? So we have to be there. These are the areas where leftist policies, especially in regard to gun control, which isn't about safety.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's about gun safety. Like, you can have a handgun, take a class, get a license. If you're going to carry it, take a class. Make sure you can hit something so you're not just firing randomly at anything that scares you and peppering your neighbor's house with bullets. That's gun safety. It's not gun control. Don't give me this gun control is hitting your target bullshit.
Have attacked and hamstring those communities. Our work at Black Guns Matter is going there, educating the people.
Dropping off a bunch of guns.
Getting them to vote in a different direction, more in alignment with their constitutional and human rights, especially as it pertains to the Second Amendment. And these classes...
Oh, so you're big on the well-regulated part? You're well-regulated when you travel around? Teaching gun safety?
Are free to all, you know? So we just love that everybody's continued to support. This message is for all Americans, but we have to do the work, especially around this violence issue. We have to do it in the areas, boots on the ground, where it's needed the most.
The brother that's doing the work, the great Maz Torre. Thanks, man.
That's a great story. That was what was recommended after we just saw Pat Robertson, nearly blow his brains out or tase himself into oblivion.